Hello everybody. Saturday afternoon. We just got back from the farmer's market not too long ago. Long enough, put stuff away, ate lunch, did our paperwork, got our money boxes all straightened out and all that good garbage. Typical weekly BS after the farmer's market. So right now what I'm getting ready to do is sift through the compost. I did a short video on this last year, which would have been one of my first videos. I want to go into a little more in-depth on this one, so it's going to be a pretty, I hope it's not going to be real long, I don't think, but it's going to be a fairly in-depth video on how I composted for the last several years, and how I screen my compost. The screening part's about the best part. I'm going to go over my screening system right now, and then I'm going to start screening compost, and I'll explain to you what I'm going to do with the compost, what doesn't go through the screen as I'm going through it. So I'm going to turn you around and show you how we screen this. So a couple years ago, I watched a video. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but it was from Plant Abundance on YouTube, Plant Abundance website, and the fellow there, Dan, is his name. He has pretty good videos. I'll try to find his video for this. I did it a little different than he did. I did mine a little cheaper than what he did his. So it's just a Harbor Freight cement mixer. Harbor Freight, there's one, I don't know, there's local ones everywhere anymore. This is just a small electric one. It just plugs into 110. Just there's the cord, there's the back motor. So what I did was I put straps on this with a piece of plywood in there covering up the drum so that the compost don't go back in the drum. And I just got some 1/2 inch welded wire, hardware cloth, an old 26-inch bicycle wheel that I scavenged from the trash dump. Father-in-law works at the local garbage dump, and I had him keep me one when someone brought it in. So I basically just screwed this with boards, little scrap pieces of wood, through to hold that board on there. Well, that's what holds this screen on there, and that board right through there is the seam in the screen. On both sides, it's got a little bit of a thing on there. So you just basically just turn this on and throw your compost inside there, and anything you want will fall through the mesh. And what you don't want, I'll just stick my wheelbarrow under that end, and it falls in the wheelbarrow. Right there's left over from last year, what's here now. It's pretty much no good. I mean, it's still organic matter, so, but all the goodies gone in. It sat there too long. I covered up with a tarp. I just did that. I just uncovered it a couple minutes ago, and I do that so all the weed seeds that fall in the fall don't land in there and have them be a weed fest. Even if the compost isn't rich in nutrients anymore, it's still organic matter. So all that being said, I'll show you how that operates here shortly. So our compost pile, we just screw pallets together, and I have pallets in front here too that I screw on. Sorry for the background noise. I screw on the fronts, and I just took them screws out and took them boards off. So this bin here, this bin right here has been there. This is probably its second year, the end of its second season. This one and this one as well. So I'm going to screen through both of these, and the bigger stuff is on top. Naturally, you're going to take it off and just put it wherever. It'll be a start of another pile is what it'll end up being. So, and how we do is we fill this one up, and when it's full, then we start the next one. Usually we fill one up how we did do it before anyways. This one here would have been filled, this bin here would have been filled early this spring or last fall, and then we started this bin filling this one up after that one was full. And now I don't turn it, I don't flip it, I just let it in there. The only time it gets flipped is when I run it through that screener and we put it back in, and I let it in there. Like this pile here, that bunch will be next year's. I'll run this through the screen next fall or next late summer, and that one there will probably be the same. That's roughly about the same time. And I have this bin here. I don't know. For what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to what I get in the wheelbarrow out of this, I'm going to dump in this bin, which is right beside the, and then whenever I need to redo the chicken composting system that you've seen the video I posted the other night, that video, whenever I need more fill for in there, I'll take it from this bin, which is going to be what I'm getting ready to screen out, and it'll be what I put in there. So every couple days I'll put a little bit in the chicken yard. So that's how I'm going to start doing it. But how I did it in the past is anything that was there, I would actually just throw it, and it would probably cap that pile off. If I did that this year, I would end up capping that pile off, and I would start a new pile here. Then I would have them 2 empty bins, and that's how I've done it for years like that. So I would do 2 piles a year pretty much, but it's not enough for the garden we have. So I need to make more compost than I've been making, because our garden area is so much bigger. And that's one reason we have chickens, so I can do that and not have to buy it in. I bought compost in the last 2 seasons, and I don't want to have to buy any more compost. I want to kind of be self-sufficient, and I think I can, but I just need to do it. So it screens it out pretty good. Hopefully you can see how good that screens in the camera. Alrighty, so you see me put all that in there so far. I'll turn that thing off. You see me put all the compost. I don't know how many shovelfuls it was, but I've got a pretty good pile right there. Pretty good pile started, and very little in the wheelbarrow. That wheelbarrow probably only has 3 shovelfuls in it. And they dig some trash out, which I always get trash in my compost, and I'm sure everybody else does too. None of us are perfect. I'm going to come back to this shortly. I just wanted to let you see how easy it works. It works pretty good, and I got a fair bit out of this first one. I got probably maybe a quarter of it dug out of this, maybe not quite a quarter. So hopefully I can get that whole thing out of there and only have one wheelbarrow of stuff that didn't compost down. Then I'll just dump it in there. So I'm gonna get back to work. Alrighty, so I got one of the beds screened, and I got a pretty good size of pretty good bit of compost out of it. I mean, it's a pretty good bit there. You can see it's up to that. It was, I mean, the wheelbarrow out of the way and it all fell, and I had to shovel it back up on top. But you can see where the drum was rubbing it right there. And I only got, that's all of that was no good. Well, it's still good. It just wasn't broke down. I think I had like a wheelbarrow and a half is all it was in there. So I still have this, and this was bigger bed. Bigger bin. This here's all I got out was that little bin right there, and it wasn't much in that bin. So yeah, that's a pretty good bit of compost out of that. So I gotta get this yet. I don't know. Hopefully I have enough to get me through next year. Well, there's about 4 yards of compost I just screened out in about 3 hours time. Pretty good day. So yeah, it takes a fair bit of time to screen it. And it's probably not the best compost in the world, but it's pretty good compost. You can see that's pretty good compost. Nice and fluffy, light. Then I cleared out 2 of these bins. This bin and this bin. Right there, still got a little bit at the bottom. There's a bunch of newspapers down there I need to get pulled out. And I only had probably 3 wheelbarrow loads total that wouldn't go through the screen. So that, yeah, pretty good day. All in all, that's a pretty good day. I'm quite happy. I just should have moved that out of the way sooner than what I had to keep moving the pile. Had to keep moving the pile because the mixer was buried. The last couple of years when I'd do this, I would move the mixer over every time I'd get under it. I'd move it. I should have done it this time, but I thought I could just let it there and move it like I did, and it actually worked pretty good. But if I need the mixer somewhere else or for something else, I can't get to it. I have to shovel all it out, and I won't be putting this compost down till, normally I don't put the compost in until late October, November, somewhere in there. And it may wait till spring too, I don't know. I'm going to take that tarp there and cover it over, and we'll cover the mixer and all. Usually the mixer, I keep it in, it stays out in the open. As you can see, it's all faded. I usually don't cover it up, but that mixer does a good job like that. I ran it so long today that my screen's actually breaking. So I need to, I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but it's got a big hole punched in it. I'll need to fix it. It was wobbling pretty bad and it was rubbing the wheelbarrow, but it is what it is. So I'm going to call today. So yeah, I got 3 more. That there is still filling up. I don't know if we're going to use it to fill any more up or it's going to all go to the chickens. So that pile there will be screened. These 2 piles will be screened next year about this time, maybe sooner than that. I may screen them. I may screen them earlier than that. I may even flip them, which I usually don't do. I usually just let them set. But you never know. I was going to end this earlier and I didn't. I wanted to show you what the end result looked like out of them 2 piles. 2 piles of compost, and there's more there than I thought there was going to be. Like I say, it's roughly 4 yards. Probably 5 foot wide and 8 foot long and 3 foot deep. So roughly 8 yards or 4 yards. So anyways, that's going to take care of it. If anybody's got any questions about compost, that's the way I do it. It's a pretty lazy way of doing it, but it works for me. I've done it that way for years. Just never produced enough compost to do as much gardening as what we do. So, but I'm experimenting with cover crops this year, which I normally don't do. So anyhow, I digress.